morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, no matter what time it is when you're seeing this video. It is time, and it's time, and it's time, and guess what? Y'all should know what time it is. It is time. Oh, by the way, if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that for your boy one time. You won't be disappointed. Let's get to the video. Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope that you're having a wonderful start to your day so far. As you can see, we're about to be out and about, but for a particular reason. This thing right here. That right there. It's an internet modem. Blew out on us yesterday. Long story short, we might as well say that the power went out in the house. And the power came back on, but only in certain sections of the house. So, it turned out to be that the circuit was blown in the garage. So it was like, okay, I'm literally trying to figure out, like, I didn't know nothing happened until I'm watching YouTube. And that's when internet just went out. It paused and it froze. I'm like, okay, so I don't know what's going on. This is buffering, it's alright. But, come to find out, internet was out. So I go downstairs, notice that there's no power on the right side of the house, like any whatsoever. So, TV was out, computer was out, excuse me, the lamp, everything that was on there. So the way how the house is wired up is strange, to where it's wired up to be, it was the family room, the back wall of the family room to the corner, other side, then the other side of the house was completely fine. The other side of the family room was fine. Then lingered out to the hallway, those outlets in the hallway, then the living room, and stopped at the living room going to the dining room. But on the other side of the living room, that power was working. So I'm like, damn, it's weird. This is weird. Then on top of that, the hallway light upstairs wasn't working. So everything was on this one small circuit. Everything else around it was working, but everything else wasn't. So end up having to go out there, assess the situation, looked at it. I keep trying to trip the breaker that's on there, but for some reason that thing kept popping. And even when it was in the on position, you barely touching, that thing popped back off. I'm like, okay, so it gotta be this. I'm not an electrician. By all means, I'm not an electrician. But we got on the phone with them. They said it was gonna be potentially like $1,200 to $1,300. Who got that? If I had to, I'd be paying some bills. I'd be paying all my bills right now. I probably have half of them paid off by now. I don't have $1,200 to $1,300. But what I do have, I had enough. I had enough to go to Home Depot, and I bought the part that I needed to get. And that was like $70 after tax. Afterwards, I went ahead and brought it home, looked at it. I said, okay, we're just going to cut this off, put these rubber gloves on, because we're dealing with live electricity. Didn't want to get shocked or electrocuted. So, went ahead and did that. Took me about 15 minutes to do it. Mind you, I'm not a pro at this. I'm not an electrician. But if an electrician was out there, it probably would only took them like 5 minutes to do it. So I'm still patting myself on the back for a job well done for someone that's not even a licensed electrician. But I saved on some money, and I made sure it was done right. Long story short, that came up, bow, power came on. Everything cool. So I go over there, so okay. It says verified power line. Alright. Yep, that, and that. But this thing wasn't on. I'm like, hold on, like, what's going on? I did everything right, so I checked, I unplugged it, and I plugged another switch in there. It worked. I'm like, internet blown out. So I meant to leave out and take this thing earlier today before I headed out to work. But I was in such a rush to get to work because I was running behind. Left this thing at home. This thing is still hot. I should say it's extremely warm, but not working. So hopefully when I go to the store, hopefully I go to Ultra Fiber, they shouldn't give me any issues with this. It's under warranty. So I should be able to get it replaced. Boot basket, go ahead, plug it up, set it back up, and get it straight. So we should be good. We should be good. But anyway, as we're making this trip, how's you guys' day going so far? I know more than likely hoping there's a Friday, hoping that Friday come up, and it's only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. Like, man, let's see, the 18th. This is bad because of the fact that the days feel like that they run in next to each other. My days has been like this, consistent, until I don't even know what day it is. Thank God for technology, right? Man, oh man. But anyway, I'm rambling. How's your guys' day going so far? Like, did you have any goals that you set up? Got anything planned for this up and coming weekend coming up? Like, shoot, what's y'all plans? Even though here in Cincinnati, the weather is about, on average right now for this week, it was 95 degrees. They said 95 degrees. Man, it's, you know what? Well, I'm not even gonna do that. I love the winter. Like, I got asthma. I love the winter. I love being in the cold. Summer is my worst season that I could ever experience. I hate the summer. I'm like, shoot, give me fall and give me winter. I'll be out there all day, every day. But summer, it ain't it. It ain't it. It ain't happening for me. It is not happening. I got out yesterday. That gauge in my car told me it was 100 degrees outside. I'm like, nah, it can't be 100. I went ahead and pulled out my phone. The phone literally said that it was 100. It was 95 degrees, but it felt like 103. I'm like, come on, man. Just imagine how it's going to be in August. Let's see, right now, 91 degrees, but the heat index says it feels like 97. Yeah. Thank goodness I'm not working at the cable company nor at the post office anymore, because I had to deal with being out in the elements, but I ain't got to the point like I can't do that no more. Like, I can't do it. I mean, if I was getting paid to do it and I had no other choice, then yeah, I guess I'll be able to do it. But anyway, hold tight, y'all. I'll see you when we get there. Hey, y'all, we back. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to take y'all into the building. They was being a little, like, funny acting about having a camera in there. Must be having something to hide. Lies that they be telling people. But we got our extra. Like, we got our replacement. So we're gonna go ahead and take care of that once we get to the house. But since we got a little, probably like a good 7 to 8 minutes of a drive, so we can have a short conversation. So about the car that I'm driving, 2016 Chevy Impala. Some people say Impala, I say Impala. Like, either or, that's one of my favorite cars. I used to have a 2000 Chevy Impala, and that was my baby. That thing right there, that was my Cadillac. It was spacious. It had the room. Well, I'm bigger now, so I tried to get in one before. It was a little bit smaller, but this car is spacious. But truth be told, I have this car paid off in December, and I started noticing the closer that my payment date or my payoff date was coming, the more stuff that started going down on the car. So I'm not gonna say that it's been fortunate, nothing's been wrong with the engine, but it's been brakes, rotors, and tires. I was stubborn. Like, my schedule and my schedule is very, very limited to where I really didn't have any time to get anything scheduled. So I was riding around, like, to be honest, I was riding around on bald tires. I was out here living life to the fullest, like thugging it out. But I had to get some tires. So I got the front 2 tires like towards the end of last year, and they said like if you come back and get the other two, we'll throw in the free like wheel alignment. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and get myself scheduled back up. Never did. So now I'm riding with two decent tires on the front and balls on the back. So I went ahead and went to one of the old mom and pop shops, or so far as you know, the tire spots that be on the street. So I went ahead and hit one of them up for a tire. I'm like, okay, because I had a slow leak in one of my tires. So I replaced that. That was about $70, like $70 for that tire. And I had to do the same thing for my rear driver's side. So I'm like, okay, cool. I got two replacement tires in the back. That should last me for a little bit so I can stack up some money and not really have to worry about it. Within like the month, I had a slow leak in both of those tires again. And I'm thinking like, I'm not out here driving reckless. It's like I'm not running over anything and everything. Come to find out that on the news, they said that it was a guy who was being in certain areas of the city, and he was just throwing nails and screws on the street for people to run him over. And they caught on to it. They got hip. They literally said that they went to the supplier that he was going to. They purposely painted the nails or the screws that he was purchasing. And they see him on the street with the color code, then they know it was him. Well, you know, dude went out there and bought some more and ended up throwing them on the street. The news talking about, well, like we were able to find out who it was, and he's been locked up without bail, basically. So they was like, now the streets will say, well, that's fine and everything, but what y'all gonna do for the victims, including myself, who need to get tires? So anyway, I tried to call the city, or the township that he did in. They wasn't held liable for that. They said that you had to be a resident within that township in order to get at least some kind of assistance. So I'm like, all right, forget it. Throughout, it was like a couple of weeks, I was just riding, and I got comfortable with putting air in my tire every 2 to 3 days. So I was comfortable with spending $2 every single time, every single trip, to put air in the tire. Until one day, I actually got up and I had to go to work. I'm like, okay. I looked at my tire. It looked kind of low, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna thug it out. My tire gonna make it. Bruh, tell me why I'm hitting 70 on the expressway. So do not do this. I'm hitting 70 on the expressway. The damn tire blew. Like, I'm sorry, I felt like rumbling, but I'm like, okay, it's probably just a road. Then I'm noticing like people in the rearview mirror. I'm looking at my side mirror and my rearview mirror. I'm seeing people slow down, like, and no one's around me. Like, okay. Before I even noticed it, I heard it was just a pop, and the car is just shaking. Like, I'm literally, it's going like this. Like, just imagine trying to control your car at 70 miles an hour with the tire being blown out. Not gonna lie, I was scared as shit. I'm not even gonna hold you. I was scared. And people that was around me, they knew what was up. They just slowed down. But this one person decided they was going to sit there and just ride along the side of me. People blowing their horn, trying to get the guy attention. Like, hey, man, slow down. His tire blown out. I pull over on the side of the road. End up getting, like, the spare on there. By that time, roadside assistance, they came. So this is like Geico, State Farm, the little roadside assistance trucks that you see on the side of the road. So they pull up. Well, the first guy, he pulls up and tells me, he said, hey, I'm just coming to let you know that I'm coming to help you, but I gotta go on the opposite side of the expressway and pick up a couch that fell off the truck, and I'll be back. I'm like, okay, I'm not the one to wait for nobody, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do it on my own. 10 minutes later, another one pulls up. By this time, I already had the spare tire on there and everything, but it was kind of low. So he went ahead and provided me some air He said, this is the least I could do is just put air in your tire. So he didn't have to do it. But I literally was trying to get this man like a gift card for Chick-fil-A because I always had like spare gift cards just hanging around somewhere. And I was going to just give it to him. He said, I can't accept it, but here, go ahead and take this survey card. Just give me a survey to say like how that shit that I do good. You know, the surveys. So I went ahead, I did it. Next week down the road, like shoot, like that, actually that same day, I was able to get down to tire discounters that I got a tire. Next thing I look up, I can't even say even a couple of days. It was literally like 3 or 4 days, almost close to a week. The other tire. I'm at work and all of a sudden I'm looking at my tire. This is extremely low. It was low to where it was down the rim. And I went, okay, let me go ahead and see if I can get to the gas station and get some air put in this tire. So I can get to a place to get another tire. Tell me why. The moment I put air in that tire, I'm hearing it. As soon as I stop the machine and put my valve stem back on there, I hear I'm looking around like, it can't be another hole. Tell me why it was a hole like right on the side of the wheel well, like someone slashed my tire. So I'm literally like, okay, luckily it's Monroe Tire. It's right next door, like not next door, it's right across the street. I put 40 in my tire. By the time I got over there, that got down to like a 2. I get in there, they tell me that we only had one technician and we're extremely backed up. It was one car in the bay. And the technician was in there on his phone. Front desk reception was on her phone. I said, well, I don't mind, I could wait because I really don't have another tire. So they told me like the best that they can do, they can get me in tomorrow morning. I'm like, but I don't have a way, I don't have a ride to get home. Like, so I'm like, okay. Luckily I still had the spare tire that came off the car before. So I went ahead and put the spare tire back on there in front in their lot, and they said, I'm sorry, so you can't do that here in the lot. You didn't help me. You said you couldn't help me with a tire, so therefore I gotta get home. By the time it was about, what time was it? About 5:45, and I know tire discounters closed at 6 o'clock. So I called them. I've done business with them before, and I went there. I called them. I said like, hey, like I'm having an issue with a tire. Is there a way I could come in? I know I'm not gonna be able to be seen, but I just want to come in and just get a schedule so I can get it done the next morning. So they said, yeah, come on in so we can get you scheduled. I got in there like around 5:55. The guy literally, he remembers who I was. Mind you, I didn't have that much money at all. So they literally was able to get me in. And they said like my other tires were severely damaged. They were bad to where if I hit a bump, the tire was going to end up coming apart. So I'm like, okay, I can go ahead and get 2 tires, but I can only afford like $230. That's my maximum I get because I have other bills I gotta pay. He comes back and tells me that the most that they can do, it was $175 per tire, and with the taxes, it would put me like around $398, close to $400. But I don't have the funds, so he knew that I wasn't pulling his leg. Like, plus we got history with me coming in there, so he gave me the family/friend discount, and that took $200 off of the bill. I was forever grateful. I was able to get me 2 brand new tires. By this time, I had all 4 new tires now. And he told me, just, here's this coupon. You can come back and get your wheel alignment whenever you're ready. So I came back the next day and got that done. Once they did it, they told me that you need brakes and rotors on the front and the back. I made a video on how to change the front brakes. And I also did the back brakes off camera, but as in for the rotors, I didn't have the proper equipment for it, so I need to get a breaker bar along with a couple of different sockets. in order for it to work. So I may end up popping another video, make a video in the future for that, just so you guys can see how to do that too. But they told me that it was going to be $1,300 to get all brakes and rotors done. Who got $1,300? I know I don't. If I had $1,300, I'd be putting towards some bills, getting some stuff paid off, like I said earlier. So I went ahead and waited until payday. Went online. I went to geekparts.com. I went on there and found 4 rotors for about $214 after tax. I went and got my brakes. Those were like $80 out the door with tax. I was able to replace my front rotor. I replaced both of the brakes and the rotors in the front. I was just able to replace the brakes in the back. But more to the story was I was able to save that money. And I'm like, the closer I get to paying my car off, it seems like the more things are starting to come into play. So anyway, just cherish what you have. I just want to say, just cherish what you have. Whether you got a bucket, whether you got a beer that's getting you from point A to point B, that's all that matters. You ain't got to be lavish out here running around the most expensive car. As long as you got a whip, as long as you got some wheels to drive and get you from point A to point B, you winning regardless. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody tell you different. As long as you got means of transportation, you winning. You are winning. But yeah, I'm about to go ahead and get in this house just so we can get this thing set up, so we can get the internet back up and running. So I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you, and always take care. I can't put so much emphasis on it, but if you haven't done so already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and grow our channel as a family. We're going to go down this journey as one. We're going to go down this journey as a family. I love y'all, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bam. Peace.